All right, the next lesson is going to be ulnar nerve motor studies. These are recorded over the ADM, so make sure we switch it over on the computer. And then you're going to still use the disc electrode, and you're going to place the disc electrodes over the ADM. You want it like, okay. So we'll put the disc electrode there over the ADM, and then the G2 goes distal to that, just on the pinky. All right. The proper position for doing this is having the patient hold the extremity up next to their head, and the elbow is at about 90 degrees, and they should be resting comfortably. They shouldn't have to voluntarily hold the arm up. And make sure you have your ground electrode on. You still should have it on from the last study. And for this one, you're also going to go 7 centimeters from the disc electrode. And we wait till we get the patient in position before we measure. So you're making a mark over the same place we made the mark essentially for the sensory study. And then you follow the same thing. Start at a low milliamps, turn on the head box, make sure the cathode is pointed toward G1, and start to shock. A series of increasing power for shocks. And then you get a waveform, and it's going to look a little bit different than the median waveform. And then once we max that out, we'll move on. With the motor studies, you should always have that initial takeoff should go straight up. There shouldn't be a downward deflection. If the deflection is downward to start, then the electrode's not in the right place. Your G1's not in the right place. You need to move it a little bit. Right? You need to advance your study because we're going to stimulate in 2 more places here. So you find the medial epicondyle and the olecranon, and then in between them you just put the anode and have the cathode just a little bit distal to that, because we want to stimulate just distal to that place. That's where the ulnar nerve is running. So then we go ahead and stimulate there. And see how her hand moves. That tells you we're getting a good motor response. And up here we're seeing that we're getting the same area. That's our goal. Okay. And we've marked where we are going to measure where we stimulated for the second time, right there. Now we're going to go above the elbow. And we want to go at least about 10 centimeters above the elbow. And it's always going to be a little bit more medial toward the bicep than you think. And then we do the same thing here. And just like with the median, if you're not sure you're right on the nerve, just slide either lateral or medial to find the best waveform. Perfect. And then we mark there. Can you guess what we're going to do next? That's right, measure. We're going to measure from the first stimulation point to the second. And then we need to measure from the second to the third. And it's important here that you measure along where the nerve is coursing. So you need to go between the medial epicondyle and the olecranon and be rather precise about how you get there. And then we input those distance values in and calculate the velocity. Very normal. This concludes the nerve conduction study of the upper extremity.